This just in, let me describe a very specific, highly uncomfortable feeling you have probably experienced sometime in the last few weeks. You receive an email from someone you know, a colleague, a supplier, or maybe even a friend checking in about a project. The message is grammatically impeccable. It is perfectly structured. It is incredibly warm in a highly sanitized corporate sort of way. It thanks you for your patience, it looks forward to continued collaboration, and it expresses that the sender is happy to hop on a call at your earliest convenience. And something feels completely off. It isn't exactly wrong, but it feels hollow. It reads like a greeting card that used all the correct vocabulary, but was clearly selected in under 10 seconds at a petrol station. You have just received an AI-written personal correspondence email. Whether you can clearly name that feeling or not, your gut is already responding to the deception. Before you use ChatGPT to draft another quick reply to a frustrated client, we need to look at the exact psychological damage these automated emails are doing to your business relationships. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Vicky Sidler, a StoryBrand certified guide and duct tape marketing strategist from the Strategic Marketing Tribe. I help small business owners like you build failure-proof marketing by focusing on the exact 20% of effort that drives 80% of the results. All so that your marketing stops feeling like a miserable second job you never asked for. I believe your absolute greatest competitive advantage is simply sounding undeniably human. Because, let's be honest, if you are using a robot to write your emails, you are probably using one to write your website copy too. And your clients can definitely tell. So download my 5-minute marketing fix to spot exactly where your messaging sounds dangerously hollow so you can replace the artificial polish with actual human connection. Okay, now with all of that out of the way, why is a perfect email actually destroying your trust? Let me be incredibly clear about what I am not talking about. AI-assisted marketing copy, automated email sequences, and massive newsletter blasts are a completely different conversation. Those communications are, by nature, broadcasted to a category of people. What I am describing is the deeply uncomfortable trend of people using a chatbot to write a highly personal, relational communication. I'm talking about the follow-up email to a supplier after a difficult meeting, the message to a team member who missed a massive deadline, the just checking in note to a colleague who's going through a personal crisis. These communications exist exclusively to move a human relationship forward. But increasingly, they are being outsourced to a machine that has never met either party, has absolutely no history with the person, and has zero stakes in the relationship. And the people receiving them absolutely know. Which brings us to the perception gap, where better words can result in worse reputation. When you let an algorithm write your apologies, you are making a massive psychological trade-off that you do not even realize is happening. A massive 2025 study published in the International Journal of Business Communication revealed a terrifying reality for business owners. The research found that while AI-assisted writing is generally perceived as more polished and professional, the managers who actually use it for personal correspondence are seen as measurably less sincere, less caring, and less confident by the people receiving the messages. The perception gap is the ultimate trap. The AI makes the words look better, but it makes the sender look significantly worse. Research consistently shows that only 40% of recipients perceive AI-written messages as sincere. Stanford researchers confirmed that people inherently trust human-written communication far more than AI-generated text, even when the robot's version is technically more accurate. But if the AI's grammar is flawless, why does it feel so untrustworthy? That brings us to the uncanny valley of email. The issue is that AI writes entirely too well, but in the exact wrong way. Its messages are too polished, too relentlessly structured, and too consistently correct. Humans have spent their entire lives reading human communication, and we subconsciously register the total absence of imperfection as the complete absence of a person. When a real human writes to you, they include tiny signals of genuine thought, a slightly awkward phrasing, a quick aside that is slightly off topic, a sentence that trails off exactly the way a spoken sentence would. These are not grammatical errors. They are undeniable proof that a real person actually sat down and thought about you specifically. AI strips out all of that. And in doing so, it strips out your humanity, plunging your relationship into the uncanny valley. The uncanny valley is a concept from robotics. As a machine looks more human, we like it more, until it gets so close to human that it becomes deeply unsettling. An obviously automated MailChimp receipt bothers no one. But an email that uses your name correctly, references a specific conversation, and yet somehow feels like it was written by a stranger, that is deeply unsettling. It is close enough to human to feel personal, but artificial enough to feel completely fake. And that fake feeling is quietly destroying your network. So let's look deeper at how does efficiency erode your business relationships. The people who defend AI email always point to the massive efficiency gains, completely missing the fact that the struggle is actually the entire point. When you sit down to write a difficult email to an unhappy client, the fact that you actively wrestled with the tone, carefully chose the words, and spent 10 minutes thinking about their specific feelings is a massive signal of respect. It proves that the relationship matters to you. When you outsource that effort to an AI in 30 seconds, you completely remove the signal. You aren't just losing the relationship, you're losing the skill. When an algorithm handles the heavy lifting of human expression, you lose the practice of it. You stop internalizing the rhythms of language. You lose your instinctive sense of what a specific client needs to hear. This leads to a terrifying homogenization of language. Because these tools are all trained on the same data, professional communication is rapidly becoming indistinguishable from a single, highly polished, completely empty corporate voice. Here is the ultimate AI litmus test. You have a voice. It is the most powerful business asset you own. It is how people recognize you, trust you, and remember you. Every single AI written email you send is a tiny withdrawal from that trust account. Using AI to help you structure a difficult message or check your tone is fine. The danger is using it to completely replace your voice simply because the conversation feels uncomfortable or time-consuming. Because that discomfort is exactly where the actual relationship lives. The halting, imperfect email you write yourself is frequently the only one that matters. If you're not sure whether you should use an AI to write your email to someone, ask yourself one simple question. If they found out a robot wrote this, would they view it as a brilliant efficiency hack, or would it feel like a personal betrayal? That answer is your guide. If you rely heavily on AI to write your website copy, your prospects are feeling that exact same sense of betrayal before they even book a call with you. So get my 5-minute marketing fix. It helps you identify exactly where your messaging sounds like an empty, polished robot, so you can inject the undeniable human authenticity that actually closes sales. Stop losing sales. Download the fix now. You can get it in the description below, or you can go to strategicmarketingtribe.com/fix. But what about you? What is the most obviously robotic, unnatural phrase someone has recently used in an email to try and sound casual or friendly with you? I'll go first. A vendor recently began a highly aggressive cold pitch by mentioning today's fast-paced digital landscape. Okay, your turn. What robotic phrase gave them away? Let me know in the comments. I'm Vicky Sidler from the Strategic Marketing Tribe, and I post helpful news updates for small businesses every day.